I have made videos about UK new builds before. The shrinking rooms, the 60-year lifespan, the build quality. But those are just the visible problems. The real traps are financial, and most buyers do not know about them until it is too late. A couple in Manchester reserved a new build priced at £340,000. They paid their £2,000 reservation fee. 6 weeks later, the developer bumped the price by £15,000. They could not afford the new mortgage. The developer kept the fee. That was just trap number 1. By the end of this video, you will know the 10 things to check before you sign anything, because one of these traps can cost you £30,000. Another can make your house completely unsellable. In the 10th place, leasehold houses with doubling ground rent. Clauses set a financial trap that can quietly drain thousands of pounds from buyers over decades. A typical clause, like the one found in Deed MS 2015 L12, starts at £250 per year, but doubles every 10 years, reaching around £8,000 a year by the 50th anniversary. For many, the ground rent is just a line in the paperwork, buried beneath the excitement of a new home. But this is not your mortgage or your service charge. It is a separate, contractual rent, and it can spiral out of control. The Greenfield family in Leeds saw their ground rent jump from £300 to £1,200 overnight when the freehold changed hands, with invoices showing a steady march upward every year. Over a 30-year period, the average ground rent on these leases hits £3,200, climbing to nearly £7,000 by year 45. Lenders increasingly refuse mortgages where the ground rent exceeds £250, or includes aggressive escalation, leaving some buyers unable to sell or remortgage. Disputing these charges at tribunal is costly and time-consuming, and legislative relief may arrive too late for existing leases. Dr. Rebecca Hayes from the Leasehold Knowledge Partnership warns that these clauses were engineered for investor profit, not homeowner security. Before paying any reservation fee, ask your solicitor to show you the transfer deed and confirm. Is the house freehold, or does the lease contain any ground rent escalation clause? Missing this step could turn your dream home into a long-term cash leak that only gets worse with time. Number 9. The Help to Buy equity loan repayment. Cliff is one of the most overlooked mid-term shocks facing new build buyers. For the first 5 years, the government-backed equity loan feels painless. No interest, no monthly cost. But in year 6, the bill arrives. Interest kicks in at 1.75% of the outstanding loan. On an £80,000 loan, that's £1,400 a year. For £100,000, the annual charge jumps to £1,750. And this is just the beginning. From year 7 onward, the interest rate rises in line with inflation, calculated as RPI plus 2%. With RPI running at 9% in 2026, some borrowers are seeing annual bills climb to £2,100 by year 7, and higher still if inflation persists. The Patel family in Manchester took a £95,000 loan in 2022. By year 9, their annual payment had already reached £2,400. Over a 10-year horizon, a £100,000 loan racks up nearly £25,000 in interest alone. Most buyers focus on the initial affordability and miss the looming cash flow spike. The loan's cost is tied to inflation, so if prices rise, so do your payments, regardless of your income or house value. Before signing, model your outgoings for years 6 to 10. Ask your advisor for a full cash flow projection using the Homes England repayment schedule. If you have used Help to Buy or know someone facing this repayment cliff, share your story in the comments below. The key is not to avoid new builds altogether, but to understand the true cost before you commit. Number 8. The new build premium vanishing on resale is one of the most expensive and least visible traps for buyers. When you pay for a new build, you are not just buying a home, you are often paying a premium of 10 to 20%. above the price of comparable older houses on the same street. UK house price index data from 432 recent sales puts the average new build premium at 13.8%. On a £320,000 property, that is nearly £48,000 extra upfront, but the premium rarely survives beyond the first few years. At Bramley Grove in Bristol, buyers who paid a 15% premium at launch saw average resale prices fall by 8% within 5 years, wiping out equity and leaving sellers with less than they started. Sophie Turner's case in Reading is no outlier. She bought at £315,000, sold at £292,000, and lost £23,000 plus fees. RICS analysts warn that this is not a fluke. New build hype fades quickly, especially when developer incentives disappear. Buyers focus on glossy brochures and overlook the risk of negative equity if the market cools or if lenders tighten criteria. Before putting down a reservation fee, insist on seeing recent resale prices for similar homes in the same postcode. Ask the developer or your solicitor, what is the average premium, and how have new builds in this area performed after 5 years? If you've experienced a loss selling a new build, share your story in the comments below. The only way to avoid this trap is to treat new build pricing with forensic caution. Never assume today's price will hold tomorrow. Number 7. Estate management fees, sometimes called fleecehold, are quietly draining thousands from new build owners long after the sale. These charges cover the upkeep of private roads, playgrounds, or landscaping that the council refuses to adopt, but they are not capped, and they escalate relentlessly. The average base fee sits at £370 per year, but contracts often include a clause tying increases to the retail price index or a minimum of 5%. In practice, fees can rise much faster than inflation. The O'Connor household in Leicester signed up at £300 per year in 2015. By 2025, their annual bill had soared to £625, a 208% increase, leaving them with invoices totalling over £19,000 across 25 years. Attempts to switch management companies were blocked, as the original deed gave exclusive control to the developer's chosen firm. A survey of 12 estate contracts found a fee range from £210 to £610, but the real sting comes from the compounding effect over time. Most buyers focus on the headline price and overlook these small print clauses buried in the service agreement. Before committing, always ask, is the estate adopted by the council, or will you be liable for private management? Demand to see the exact escalation clause and model the cost over the next 2 decades. If you have faced unexpected fee hikes, share your experience in the comments below. The only way to avoid this trap is to verify the adoption status and escalation terms before you sign. Otherwise, small annual charges can snowball into a major financial burden. Number 6. The NHBC warranty is often misunderstood as a blanket 10-year safety net, but the reality is much narrower, and the gaps can cost owners thousands. For the first 2 years, the builder is responsible for most defects, from leaking pipes to faulty doors. From year 3 onward, the NHBC warranty only covers major structural failures. Think collapsing roofs or subsiding foundations. Everyday problems like cracked plaster, drafty windows, or faulty electrics are excluded after the initial 2-year window. In one Southampton case, a homeowner reported a major roof leak in year 4. The claim took 15 months to process, and NHBC approved just £7,400 out of a £12,000 repair bill, citing exclusions for internal finishes and non-structural damage. Most buyers never see the full list of exclusions until a claim is denied. The LABC and Premier guarantee policies follow the same split, broad cover in years 1 and 2, then a sharp drop-off. This split responsibility model leaves a dangerous assumption gap. Many buyers believe they are protected for a decade, when in fact most issues after year 2 are the owner's problem. Before exchange, demand the full NHBC or warranty policy document. not just the summary. Read the section on years 3 to 10 and make a checklist of what is not covered. If you have experienced a warranty rejection or a drawn-out claim, add your story in the comments below. Knowing the true scope of your warranty is the only way to avoid a nasty financial shock years after moving in. Number 5. The gap between the show home and the actual property specification is one of the most widespread and costly marketing traps facing UK new build buyers. At Riverdale Gardens in Bexley, the glossy brochure promised hard-landed oak kitchen units, integrated appliances, and underfloor heating. But when buyers received their contract packs, the fine print swapped oak for laminated medium-density fiberboard, integrated for freestanding, and underfloor heating for basic electric radiators. This is not an isolated case. A survey of 30 developments found that 78% of show homes display higher specification finishes than what is delivered as standard. Martin Ellis in South Manchester expected soft close front doors, as advertised, but moved in to find standard push to open fittings. He shared photos that show the difference, side by side with the developer's marketing images. The Consumer Group, which found that 61% of buyers felt misled by these specification gaps, and a third filed formal complaints after move-in. The financial risk is real. Upgrading to match the show home specification can add thousands to the final bill. Riverdale's underfloor heating upgrade alone cost £3,200 per unit. Most buyers assume what they see is what they get, but the legal contract only binds the developer to the written specification, not the showroom. Before committing, demand a plot-specific specification sheet and insist on inspecting the completed unit, not just the show home. Ask, does every feature in the brochure appear in the contract? If not, get it in writing or walk away. If you have experienced a show home bait and switch, share your story in the comments below. The only way to avoid this trap is to treat every claim as unproven until it is backed by the actual contract. Number 4. Restrictive covenants that remove permitted development rights can quietly lock owners out of future improvements and cost thousands in lost value. These clauses are buried in the transfer deed, not the marketing brochure. At Cedar Park in Oxford, Clause 12.4 reads, "The lessee shall not erect any structure that would constitute a permitted development under Part 1 of Schedule 2 of the Town and Country Planning General Permitted Development Order, 2015, without the freeholder's written consent." In plain terms, that means no loft conversion, rear extension, or even a garden office, unless the developer or freeholder agrees, usually for a hefty fee, or not at all. Emily Watts in Leeds learnt this the hard way. She tried to add a loft room in 2023, only to have her request refused outright. Her solicitor's letter and a rejected appeal left her with legal bills, but no extra space. The effect ripples through the resale market. Analysis from 2022 to 2026 shows that homes on estates with these permitted development removal covenants sold for an average 5.7% less than similar properties on unrestricted streets. That is a £17,000 hit on a £300,000 house. Only 4% of buyers spot the clause before exchange. The question to ask your solicitor is, does the transfer deed include any covenant restricting permitted development rights? If so, get a written statement of exactly what you can and cannot build before you pay any reservation fee. Share your experience in the comments if you have faced a blocked improvement or lost out on resale due to these hidden limits. The paperwork, not the plot, may decide your home's future potential. Coming to the top 3, the reservation fee trap is one of the fastest ways a buyer can lose thousands before even reaching exchange. Most developers demand a reservation fee, anywhere from £500 to £2,500, to hold a plot while you arrange your mortgage and instruct solicitors. But what's rarely explained is that these fees are almost always non-refundable, even if the developer increases the price or your mortgage falls through. Persimmon's standard agreement, for example, states in black and white that the reservation fee is non-refundable and will be retained if you failed to exchange contracts within the reservation period. For the Hawkins family in Manchester, that meant their £2,500 reservation fee was gone overnight. They reserved a 3-bedroom in May, only for the developer to issue a 7% price increase notice 2 months later. Their lender pulled the mortgage, and the developer kept the entire fee. No exceptions, no appeal. The typical window is just 28 days, yet delays with paperwork or a late mortgage offer can trigger forfeiture. In practice, reservation fees are treated as sunk costs, not deposits, and buyers accept the risk without realising the odds. Before you pay, demand a written clause making the fee fully refundable if the developer increases the price, or if your mortgage is refused. If the agent refuses, walk away. Share your own reservation fee stories in the comments. How much did you lose, and did anyone manage to negotiate a refund? The only way to avoid this cash trap is to make the refund conditions explicit in writing before you hand over a single pound. Developer-appointed management companies often lock residents into overpriced insurance and contractor deals, quietly inflating annual service charges. When the managing agent controls the block, residents lose the ability to compare prices or demand better value. Insurance is a prime example. At one development, Elite Management Limited charged £1,200 per year for a standard 2-bedroom flats block policy. An independent broker quoted the same cover at £950, revealing a £250 overcharge. Within that, £300 went straight to commissions for the management company and their broker, a markup hidden in the paperwork. Similar stories play out across the country. At Maple Court in Coventry, residents took the right to manage route. After securing the statutory 50% vote, which is soon to drop to 30%, they renegotiated their insurance, slashing the premium from £1,180 to £820. That is a 30% saving, repeated every year. Over a decade, these inflated costs can drain thousands from each flat owner. The system thrives on opacity, with block policies bundled into service charges and little explanation given. Buyers should always request a full breakdown of insurance and contractor costs, and compare at least 2 independent quotes. Refusal or inflated figures signal a deeper problem. For owners, organising a right to manage can be the most effective way to break the monopoly and reclaim control over costs. These hidden commissions and markups, if left unchallenged, steadily erode household wealth. And finally, in first place, the physical divide built into many new developments through Section 106 affordable housing obligations can have a lasting impact on daily life and future resale. At Greenfield Park in South Yorkshire, the full site plan reveals a separate entrance, often called a pour door, for the affordable block, with a different brick finish from the rest of the estate. This is not just a quirk of design. The Yorkshire Housing Department found that 12% of new build schemes with Section 106 requirements showed segregated access, often limiting affordable unit residents' access to communal gardens or shared amenities. For Aisha Khan, who owns one of these affordable units, the effect is isolating. Her entrance is tucked away, her building's exterior is visibly lower grade, and she is cut off from the main communal areas. Planning guidance now treats these disparities as a material factor, but the practice persists. The problem is not only social. When buyers or future purchasers see a block with a visibly different facade or a separate entrance, the perception of value and community drops, dragging down resale prospects and undermining the idea of a mixed-tenure neighbourhood. Before committing to a new build, always ask for the full site plan and study the layout. Are entrances and finishes the same for all units? Does the affordable housing have equal access to amenities, or is it physically set apart? If you spot a separate entrance or downgraded materials, get written confirmation of amenity rights and facade parity before exchange. Share your experience in the comments if you have lived with or lost out because of Section 106 segregation. A new build should offer a fair community, not a divided one. The key is in the paperwork and the plan. Never sign until you have checked both. in detail. Across all these hidden costs and contract clauses, one pattern stands out. The real risk in UK new builds is not what you see on the surface, but what is buried in the paperwork. It is not about avoiding new homes. It is about demanding transparency and reading every line before you commit. That knowledge is your only real protection. Stay sharp and protect your future when you buy.